right, welcome to episode 4 of Liberated in Love podcast. We're sitting at the park in Kennewick right now. It's a little different location than normal, but how do you feel? How are you feeling today, Keila?
Really good. Awesome. Amazing.
Yeah. How do you feel about 4 episodes? We're 4 episodes deep.
4 episodes deep. Well, we've been recording when we feel our very best, right? When the surrounding environment is just nurturing like this sort of conversation. Easygoing, and so it's been a whole experience where we decide, okay, let's drive out here, let's go there. What do you want to see? Something different. Like we've mentioned in previous episodes, I'm not from this area, so every time we do drive out, it's something entirely new for me. And just being out by the ducks and the water.
Duckos.
Yeah, and nature itself, we've all experienced it, removing ourselves from the city into a place where all you hear is the wind and the trees, the rustling of the leaves and stuff, and within moments it's like you're a totally different person, right? So it's exciting recording these shares.
That's cool.
What about you?
I feel good about it. 4 episodes, and they're always fun. There's been a couple where they're like fails, just because it's either like our environment. I feel like for me it's like our environment, or like sometimes like the other night we tried to record one really late and we just got like wine drunk.
Yeah. We did.
And then so that was fun, but we can't record. And I know you wanted to talk about something specific today, actually.
Yeah, what's been coming up for me recently has been how it is that I present myself, or just how much of me I'm sharing with you, my partner, and what that's been like moving through that. A lot of things have come up that haven't in the past, and so I found it very interesting if we could just go over what it's like to be in your power in a relationship. What does that look like, and the kind of things that might arise in a relationship. So I wanted to talk more about that. So
what is it when you say in your power? What does that mean for people who aren't familiar with that term?
Basically feeling your best and allowing yourself to move through certain emotions calmly, easily, without kind of projecting too much. If I'm feeling uneasy, what is it that I can do so that I don't bring that into our relationship and then hurt you by me not being able to handle my own? Okay, that's one thing.
Okay.
So we can get started with that. If there's anything that's come up for you in that area.
So how do you come to be in your power?
Okay, so
I want to get that clear.
Well, there's a lot of work that was done before, right? Getting to know myself and what it's taken for me to feel comfortable in my own skin and make my own shots in my own life. You brought something up about individualization and how you kind of have to let go of some of that when you fall in love with someone else, and when you just open your heart and allow yourself to move into this space of becoming one. And I think for me, I started to notice how personally I let go of a lot of the things that I tend to do for my own well-being, because I'm sharing so much time and space with you. And at first it was like, okay, I'm open to this experience, let's do it, I love this, I'm having fun. But then after some time you start to question, am I letting go too much? Because when we met, we were each in our power, meaning we were operating exactly how we wanted, regardless of what it made other people feel like. And now, because I am in this relationship, I'm constantly thinking about, okay, OC's well-being. How is OC feeling? But it's not fair either, because in doing that, I'm not honoring myself as much.
So there's a little balance you have to play with there.
Yes.
Where you do, like, you're right, you do have to give some, as like a give and take when you come into a relationship. You can't always just be thinking about yourself and doing things purely for yourself anymore, because of that relationship, if you want to maintain it, you know. And yeah, okay, so you mentioned about the feelings, like bringing things from other relationships into this relationship. I know that I feel like there was a little bit of, for me, like a little bit of almost like struggle, I would say, with that, where like with other relationships, I would like the same old feelings would start to arise in this relationship, you know. And I tried my best to like identify them and kind of know that, like, okay, this is a different person, this is a different situation, it's totally different. Like, even though I'm feeling these same feelings, it's out of context. It's not that person who like I can't trust, or that person who I know lies, or, you know, something like that. But yeah, like that's what I've been noticing, I guess. It comes up sometimes, but I try to recognize it, and I have verbalized it to you too, just so you know, and so we can like talk about it, and then we just kind of ask for clarity, and then things get better, you know. You don't want to be making assumptions about anything.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that? Past relationships, anything?
Yeah. So definitely having to be extra careful of like your motives as to why it is that you're saying something. Are you saying it to like block yourself off, or set those boundaries so that past experiences don't replay themselves? And so there's a lot of that, but then at the same time you realize if you start to put up all these boundaries, or just close yourself off to certain experiences in this new relationship, you're not really surrendering into like what's happening now. So yes, going back to that balance where just being fully open to this new experience, and knowing that I don't know, I guess.
So I've been kind of like allowing this relationship to surprise me. Not really expecting anything out of you or out of me or out of us. And trying not to bring anything from the past into it. Just kind of letting things happen and unfold as they will. And then, you know, enjoying it, and really having a good time.
I feel that too, yeah. That's helped me. Your approach right there, I can sense that, and it helps me really kind of open myself up as well. It's almost like jumping into the deep end, you know, like, here, hold my hand, let's just do it together. Okay, like, all right. Yeah,
like not put too much thought into things, you know. And just doing things like on a whim. Like, we had an experience just now going to a coffee shop in Kennewick. I don't know what it was called, but
it was Roasters.
The other one, how we missed it. Like, we were leaving our house, and I take the wrong exit to go to Kennewick, which I never ever do.
Yeah, well, let's be clear. So I was coming home and there was this coffee shop that I saw and I wasn't familiar with it. OC hadn't brought it up before here in Kennewick. So when I got home, I was like, hey, let's go to this coffee shop. See, here's a picture of the menu. I think we might like it. And then we decided to leave the house. And as soon as we left his neighborhood, he made the wrong turn onto the freeway he wasn't supposed to. So that happened immediately. And then we made another wrong turn. And so that's what he's referring to.
Yeah, and then so it was just like these inconveniences that happened, very small and like very minor, and like we could have very well just went into that coffee shop either way.
Yeah.
Like, despite them, like, a couple wrong turns. And then even on the way there, you were like, let's just go to Roasters instead. And then, like, so we're picking up on something there. We're picking up on some sort of resistance towards that.
Going to this new coffee shop, Advil Care.
Yeah, and, like, so I think you're really good at that, picking up on those kind of energies or those kind of feelings. And so I've been learning a lot about that from you, where we kind of just listen to that little voice on a moment-to-moment basis, even if it's something as simple as coffee, you know. Like me, if I, despite all that, I would have been like, fuck it, I just want to try this coffee place, you know. And then so we just ended up going to Roasters down the street, and we had a really good experience, and they were like really,
and we got
super busy.
They were really busy. They even gave us a full, like, they finished stamping all of our slots on a stamp card so we can get our next coffee free. So that also was cool.
Yeah, I like how they designed their shop,
the decor and whatnot.
Yeah, the Native American. Keila had like a little photo shoot in there, so you might see some of that. I don't know.
Photo shooting him.
And then, okay, so there's another thing that happened yesterday at Just Joel's, which is like another little thing that most people wouldn't think about. So you want to explain that situation?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had just left the gym, and down the street there's a diner, opens really early in the morning, closes no later than like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Breakfast, lunch, and pie. That's their little thing.
Yes. And OC was in the mood for pie in the last couple of weeks. He kept bringing it up, but we didn't go get pie until yesterday. I was like, you want pie, babe? We're gonna get some pie today. Let's check it out. So I made a little U-turn. We pull up to the diner, and I had just stepped outside of my door.
Yes.
Next thing I know, I hear his phone like just hit the floor, the pavement. I just hear like the cracking, and then I turn around and OC is on the floor. He had tripped over his gym bag, and when I go to reach him, I see that gym bag straps are like wrapped around his ankle, not just once or twice. It looked like 3 different times they had looped over his ankle. So he was in there, and he had fallen. Yeah, and so everyone was a little startled. I was definitely in shock too, because
it was pretty funny.
It was hilarious. Yeah, we definitely laughed about it. It was no biggie. But the thing is, we had just seen an older man 2 days before fall at the gym.
At
Gold's gym. And OCL, he decided to go help him. So it was kind of fresh on our mind. And, you know, these things don't happen very often. I mean, at least I don't think so for you. No. So I was like, what was that about? He got, you know, a scratched shin. Yeah, knee.
Yeah.
And immediately our first thought is, okay, what does that mean? Like, why did you fall? What happened?
Yeah. So, like, we walk into the restaurant, and I go in the bathroom just to, like, wash my hands. And, like, my knee was bleeding a little bit, so I just got, like, a paper towel. And so I sat down next to you at the table, and you asked me, what does that mean? And you told me to, like, just take a moment to myself and ask myself, why did I fall? And I was telling you, like, I hadn't fallen in years. Like, I hadn't tripped over something and fallen in years. And so I just asked myself this question. And one of the, like, the first things that is just kind of screaming at me is that there's something bigger than me now. There's something stronger than me. It's making me feel smaller, and not in a scary sense, but in an exciting sense. There's something taking a life of its own here that I hadn't been able to see before, but maybe just feel its presence because it was so big. And I did feel that something was approaching, something powerful, something that it's moving. And I think that it's all coming together here in a really nice way. And I feel it's having to do with us coming together with you and I, and the things that we want to do together, and how we want to put ourselves and our ideas out there. And so that's what came up for me when I fell. Yeah, it was pretty interesting experience.
And it's a very exciting time in the year, I believe, also, because I've been picking up on something similar where we're being pushed to think bigger than ourselves, bigger than survival, bigger than just like selfish, like just needs or desires, such as like, how do I take care of myself and be on my own. It's really how can we thrive, and how can we help our community or the people that we love see that it's possible for us to thrive, enjoy our lives, like, you know, and really live on a moment-to-moment basis, removed from all of those just like preconceived, all of those notions of you know, having a steady 9-to-5 job, working for a good company, having good benefits, and all that jazz. It's like, no, how about we live like how we want to live on that day? And that's it. And it, not be so afraid to put ourselves out there or try things that haven't been done in our family before, and do it all with grace, you know. So anyways, I was definitely thinking about like how it's beyond us now. It's like taken a life of its own, for sure. And we're just commenting on it. We're just here for the ride.
We're along for the ride now.
And we're open to whatever it is that's coming into our space, like really surrendering into like where we're being moved to. And that's why I bring up like our relationship and how sometimes it's a little scary, you know, to kind of give myself so much, but it feels right at the same time. That's how most things work out, right?
Yeah, that's right. I feel like, like coming back to, you know, the first thing we said, it's like a give and take here. And really with everything, it's a give and take. It's a balance, or, you know, like the imagery of the yin yang symbol. It's a mix of two energies. You know, you could call it masculine, feminine energies. But it's a mix of these two coming together and creating one thing, you know. And so like this one thing that we might feel is coming on might be multiple things in itself, you know. And that's how it kind of works. Like that's kind of how the universe works. It's like you can never boil it down to one thing. It's all like, it's always different. No matter what, it's always different. And it's like a paradox. And it feels really good, this kind of mixing of energies, and it feels really good. It's not intimidating. It's super exciting to see. I'm really enjoying everything.
Me too. I am also.
Even the falls.
Get a good laugh while we're at it. Everybody had a great laugh because of you, babe. Seriously. Thank you.
They did. They were all happy. And we forgot our pie.
We did. We ended up eating at the restaurant, having half of the pie, and we're like, no, we can save the rest to go home. And we forgot our leftovers on the table.
And it was a big piece of pie. It was super good too.
We woke up today in the morning thinking about the piece of pie. Don't worry, it's okay.
They didn't have it. They didn't save it for us. We called. But that is okay. We got a bigger piece of pie coming, I feel like. What flavor?
Well, you can have anything you want on it.
Any flavor?
Any flavor. You could put bacon on a piece of pie.
That's exactly what they did.
Why not?
Just Joel's is good. I really like it. I feel like we should be regulars there. I think they'll appreciate that.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk to him.
Yeah. And he should have gave us a free pie when we called, but that's okay. We'll work on that relationship. We have relationships with everything in the world, you know.
Yes, we do.
And it's some are like new, so they have more boundaries than others. You know. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on with regards to this relationship, or anything on your mind today?
I think that I'm really just encouraging other people, as I am myself, to just be allowing of all of what is coming in, and allow ourselves to really receive. if you feel you've done your work, if you feel you've been diligent, like, about taking responsibility in all areas of your life, like, allow yourself to receive. Like, I feel like this is the time for us to really enjoy, like, the fruits of our labor, even though the work that we've been doing has been, like, intrinsic and within ourselves, and many other people might not, like, contest to any real change. Like, we personally, individually know what we have done for ourselves, to basically live a more autonomous life.
Yeah.
So at this time, during this end of the year, I feel like let's just
receive.
Yes, let it just trust and don't doubt. Just like allow yourself to really receive.
Yeah, this is like a feminine energy that you have to take on here, which a lot of guys and a lot of girls actually can't like surrender to, or be open to receiving. Like, and I always tell you how, like, you're such a woman, because like you're really open and you're really very strong, like, womanly energy to you. And I know that, like, a lot of people struggle with that, with being that open, or that, like, just kind of receptive to things in life, you know. And like, there are times to be receptive, and there are times to kind of be more of a masculine energy, where you're out there doing stuff instead, you know, where you're out there pushing the buttons.
Yes.
I know that, like, before kind of you and I got together, that's how you were, and you weren't really feeling that good about it.
No, but it was part of the journey to get me here. I don't regret any of it whatsoever, but I definitely having more of a, I'm gonna figure this out, and I have to
very outgoing
and very wanting to be more in control, to be more in control of what was happening, cleaning up my own shit, basically, whether it was like physical relationships, like, and when I say physical, I mean like literally physically, like physical toxins and food and fitness and discipline, like, you know, those sorts of things, like how you were, what kind of people you who you were surrounding yourself with, and those sorts of things, what you were doing on a regular basis, more of what you were actually doing. And feminine, it's more like, you know, sitting back and working with energies. So it's less of the doing and more of the being and allowing.
Kind of embodying of the things that you've learned so far, and just letting things happen for you, really. And again, it's, you can't be totally receptive where you're like a doormat to people and they make all their decisions for you, and they kind of just push you around and you just go with that. That's not being receptive, you know. That's being a doormat. And again, it's just a balance. Everything is a balance. We're balancing these energies, and we're not giving too much. We're kind of staying in the middle, you know. We just want to stay in the middle and kind of observe things, like the witness, you know. We're just letting things happen for us and enjoying it. It's not, nothing is ever good or bad when you're standing in the middle of all these perspectives, you know. If you attach yourself too much to one or the other, then you become a victim, or you start to take things personally, you know. Whereas nothing is really happening to you, it's really happening for you. Even that fall, you know, I could say I fell, like my personality fell and got hurt, but like really that fall happened for me to show me something, you know. And so I was in a place where I can see that, you know, where I'm able to have that perspective, and that's all like in a culmination of all my past experiences where I've fallen and didn't see it, you know, and took it personal. And why am I falling today? You know, it's not really like that, but it's still the same question. Why are you falling today? Why do you feel how you feel today? And
then other people, they might fall and not think anything of it. And I feel like that does also have a time and place, you know? But we have these minds. We have, like, these experiences happening for a reason. Like, if we can get any sort of, like, personal, like, conscious insight on it, why not ask the question? Because you can stop at any given time of the day and go there with yourself and seriously have some transformational messages come through. So the fact that you took that opportunity is something that needs to be talked about, because people these days aren't being taught that. They don't know that they have access to this within themselves at any given moment.
And that's something that, again, you've been showing me, is that kind of receptiveness, that like letting things happen to you and not really saying like, oh damn, that happened to me, but just like, why did that happen to me? Or, you know, kind of check in with yourself, which you do a lot, and it rubs off on me. I like it.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? How do you feel?
I'm excited for whatever reason.
We're gonna paint later.
We are. We're gonna paint rocks. Who knows? Maybe even paint just, you know, like
little things.
A couple of canvases, because we've been finding. I found blueberries at the corner of an alley where we live, and there's all these like dried out blueberries, but they still have a lot of like juice in them. Yeah.
When we're walking Suka.
And I was like, let's use this for paint. And so we were thinking of using those blueberries.
Some organic kind of material to paint, like with coffee. One time I saw David Cho, he painted with soy sauce, which looked really nice. Oh. And soy sauce is actually perfect. Probably better than coffee.
Yeah.
We can paint with like beets, maybe.
Yes.
Turmeric. You know, like these really rich colors, really bright, deep colors.
See what we come up with.
Yeah. And then we'll eat them. How does that sound?
Not the blueberries, they've been out.
No, the paintings. We'll eat the paintings.
Oh my gosh, edible paintings.
Yeah.
What would the canvas be made out of?
I don't know.
Something that, like, you know, absorbs the color but doesn't let it move around too much.
Yeah. We'll just make it out of plain old paper. We'll eat it.
Babe, come on. He does that. He tries to eat fortune paper. The cookies, the fortune cookies.
I'll eat the whole thing. I don't even check them anymore.
Including the
I
paper.
let my heart read them. You know?